Now, pre-trial hearings have opened at the International Criminal Court against Rodrigo Duterte, the former president of the Philippines. Duterte is facing 3 counts of crimes against humanity over his deadly anti-drugs campaign. Prosecutors allege he authorized dozens of killings and personally selected targets. Duterte denies the charges and has waived his right to attend. Judges have 60 days now to decide whether to confirm the case for trial. And we can get more from DW's Rosie Birchard. She's following the story for us in The Hague. Rosie, first of all, how have proceedings unfolded so far on this first day of the hearing?
Anya, I was in the courtroom gallery as the prosecutors laid out what they say are the reasons why they believe that Rodrigo Duterte should stand trial and be in the dock here in The Hague. They say there is substantial grounds to believe that he bears criminal responsibility for involvement in dozens of murders, but they also said that his overall crackdown on drugs led to thousands more deaths, and that what they are seeking charges for are just a fraction of the damage that they say his policies caused. Now, then it was Rodrigo Duterte's lawyers' turn to explain why they believe he should not stand trial. They accused prosecutors of cherry-picking evidence. They said Duterte maintains his innocence and stands by his legacy, which they claim was one of law and order. Duterte himself did not show up in court. He waived his right to do so, which is allowed. His lawyers have also talked about what they say is his fragile health. He's 80 years old, although authorities here have decided that he is fit to come to court, and if a trial is confirmed in the next couple of weeks of deliberations, we should see him in the dock here in The Hague if this does indeed go to trial.
Now, the idea of seeing him behind bars would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. Tell us what message this case sends, about accountability for powerful leaders globally.
Unimaginable, because he was an incredibly popular president, and he actually maintains a very high degree of popularity among Filipinos, both in the country and outside. There were protests outside the court today, both from different camps here. So protesters told me who they want to see Duterte stand trial, but also protesters who claim that he's sort of the victim of a political stitch-up. What prosecutors said is that this case sends the message that even powerful leaders are not above the law. And remember, this is a really important and kind of critical moment for the International Criminal Court in general. Some judges and officials here are under US sanctions, and its most high-profile arrest warrants in recent years have also sparked major global headlines and controversy. Some of those arrest warrants include, for example, for Russian President Vladimir Putin and for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Those indictees may be watching this case very carefully. They are both controversial cases for different reasons, and also there are jurisdictional questions, and neither Russia nor Israel, for example, are party to the International Criminal Court. Duterte himself pulled the Philippines out of the ICC under his presidency, and that's why only alleged crimes up until 2019 are up for discussion in the court here in The Hague, despite the fact that Duterte went on to govern for years after that. So this is really, I think, it would be considered a landmark case. Duterte would be the first Asian ex-leader to be in the dock here in The Hague, and it comes, as I said, at a moment where the court really says it's facing something of an existential crisis in its duty, which is supposed to be to prosecute and to investigate war crimes and crimes against humanity, the most serious crimes that populations around the world face. And it's something the court says that it certainly simply needs more support from those governments that are still party to it.
DW's Rosie Birchard. Rosie, thank you so much for that.